6:33. And so we're calling meeting to order, 6:33. And if we can go right into our agenda item um, with Mr. Endo.
Can I have everybody rise for the pooling? And we will be taking some time to pray for the Pia family. Let's pray. Father, our hearts are heavy and saddened, but just by the unnecessary death of a loved Waianae person, Mr. Pia. And we ask for your comfort for the family, for the friends, those that were longtime friends of the ranch. Help them through this time. Help our community, Lord, to heal, to do what is right, to bring righteousness into Waianae and your great love for one another. Lord, I pray that you guide us as board members. Help us to do what is pono, to guard our speech, our heart. For I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Mahalo, Mr. Endo. So before we get to the first item, I just wanted to um, go over really quickly. Any speakers when it's community concerns, whether questions and things like that, if you guys can please address the chair, and which is myself, and then just being honor and respectful to one another as we're in this space. I mean, mahalo for all of you guys for attending and being here tonight. And I know we are slowly getting all of our I see Corporal Peg in there. So if we can just stay in Kapu Aloha while here at our meeting, and then we will be keeping time as far as 2 minutes. For if we have a longer line, we might have to cut back on the minutes, but for right now, the minutes is set for 2 minutes when you're addressing the board. But mahalo again for being here, and then we're moving on to our our third agenda item with Honolulu Fire Department. Do we have anyone online? Okay, I don't see anyone online or in person currently, so we will move right along to Honolulu Police Department. And if Jeff, you can let us know if they. Thank you so much. Corporal Pagan.
Hi, good evening, Madam Chair, board members, members of the community. Corporal Pagan with the Honolulu Police Department District 8 Community Policing Team. And I do have your stats for February. In February, we had 24 motor vehicle thefts, 2 in our area, 23 burglaries, 100 and something is wrong with the stats, 157 thefts, 6 in our area, 49 unauthorized entries into a motor vehicle, 6 in our area, a total of 111 citations, 6,244 calls for service, 1,345 in our area. The only other thing that I did want to bring up is that the U.S. Attorney is having her Celebrate Safer's community event March 9th, this Saturday, from 10 to 1 at Pearl Ridge. There's going to be a lot of law enforcement booths and resource booths, as well as opportunities to see some of the first responding vehicles, as well as some military vehicles. It's going to be, I'm not sure what side it's called, but it's a side with Macy's. I don't know if that's uptown or downtown or whatever it is. It's going to be on that side. The vehicles will be outside. Inside on the first floor will be all of the displays and vendors and booths and stuff like that. Other than that, I'm open for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Alamai, what time was that for Saturday?
10 to 1.
Hello. Board members, any questions for HPD? Board members, any questions? Okay,
I have a
I have
question.
one input. Oh, I'm sorry, Coco. Go ahead.
Hey, Corporal Fagan, always good to see you, brother. So,
You too, sir.
my question was, I guess, because of the tragedy that happened at Waianae Ranch, and I guess, I don't know the full details, but what I know that 17-year-old is carrying a handgun, and um, so is that still an ongoing investigation, brother?
Sorry. Yes, it is still on an ongoing investigation. I'm not sure if they've decided yet, or the courts have decided whether or not they're going to waive jurisdiction and transfer the case to adult court away from family court. So that is still going on. I know that we've had some concern. I believe people are going to be bringing it up tonight regarding some issues with the hunters in that area and what was going on. And, my understanding from, not from the investigation, but just people I've talked to, I guess, situations like this have been going on for a while with people trespassing in that area. So I believe there's some people that are going to be talking to with DLNR because the hunting area is their area. HPD has very little jurisdiction or authority to go up there and enforce any of the hunting laws. So it's a little bit different. We do and we can address the trespassing if they're going on the rancher's property and stuff like that. If we're called and made aware of the situation. So other than that, there's really not much I could tell you about the case.
Well, thank you for that information. That was very informative of the information you shared, Corporal. To my understanding, like, is it legal for a 17-year-old to be carrying the arms?
I believe if they're with a responsible adult and they're in a hunting area, they're allowed to carry a rifle. I believe that you're not allowed to carry a handgun. Again, I'm not real sure about the laws work in that area with the whole in the hunting area versus walking out of the hunting area and stuff like that. That's something I would have to get back to you on regards to his legality of handling a weapon. I do know that in order for you to purchase or be registered owner of a firearm, you do need to be 21. But I do know there are people that go to hunt and they have kids as young as 12 hunting. So I'm really not sure what the laws are regarding the area that they're allowed to use the weapons.
Thank you, Corporal. You've been very helpful. Thank you.
Mahalo. I have one community member in person. Go ahead. State your name for the record, please.
Shelby Billionaire. Thank you, Officer Mudaoka. I had a question when you ran the statistics. I'm looking over the board agenda and I didn't see murder, death, kill ratio. How many murders and deaths and kills do we have this month? We have people that got shot and murdered, and I'd like to know the numbers since you're giving such numbers out.
Yeah, we don't put that in the stats because it's not one that we track. If you go to the HonoluluPD.org website, you can get the information there and any other types of crimes there. I don't actually know how many, other than Mr. Pia's, I'm not sure of how many other murders or homicides we've had in our area in February.
Okay, thank you.
Mahalo. I have, what? State your
Mr.
name.
Fagan, I'm Austin Salcedo. I got a question. Okay, it was brought up the issues at the state legislation on the 29th regarding this issue at happened at Ohikilola Ranch. One of the testimonies was provided by the state law enforcement. How, in any way, which way, fit, form, or function, do HPD notify them to assist because of the shortfall of HPD, the state law enforcement? I didn't know they existed. At what
I'm
point do you
sorry.
folks engage with them?
I'm sorry, you're asking, how do we call them for service or they call us for service?
They call you folks engage with them or request for services by the state law enforcement to assist because the folks shortfall in manning. Like this case where private property, the death happened on this private property. How, if there's any which way means that the HPD contact the state law enforcement to also assist in collaboration together. Do you folks do that? Is there a way? Is there a mechanism?
As of right now, I'm not aware of a mechanism. The thing that people have to remember is that when things are happening on private property, that would be an HPD issue, no matter where it is. It's private property, HPD would be dealing with it. The difference is with the Hawaii Law Enforcement Agency, that is for assistance with state property, such as the hunting grounds themselves. Once the people leave the hunting grounds and there's an incident on private property, we wouldn't call the Hawaii Law Enforcement Agency to deal with anything. It would be something that we would deal with. And to get back to your question, you know, they're a lot more shorthanded than we are, because they are the agency that's being developed as we go along. It's not something that they started and they had, you know, 300 officers waiting in the wings to start doing their job. So it is something that is being developed. So I'm not sure how many officers or agents they do have at the moment.
So are you saying that there are the new kids on the block, Officer Pagan?
I'm sorry?
Are they the new kids on the block that's creating their new development of law enforcement? Is that what I'm hearing?
My understanding is the Hawaii Law Enforcement Agency was designed to combine a lot of agencies, which would be like daycare, sheriffs, harbors, I believe even the ACOs, the prison guards and stuff like that. So the whole agency is a little bit, they have their hands in a lot of different things. Again, I wouldn't really be the one to speak to that. You might want to talk to someone on the state side regarding what their duties are and what they're going to be responsible for. Because again, the Hawaii Law Enforcement Agency is actually a state agency, not a city and county agency.
Thank you, Officer Pagan. The neighborhood board, you should be aware of this state law enforcement services that's on there. But please review this recent information meeting that was held on the agriculture on the 29th by the senators Gabbard and who's the co-chair? Senator Richards. All testimonies on that. Review it.
Mahalo. Thank you, Corporal Pagan, for your time. And then if we have Ocean Safety, Lieutenant Patterson, not online. Okay, so we don't have Honolulu Fire Department or Ocean Safety. If they do come on, we will give them the opportunity to share. We're gonna go right into our presentations. So if we can have Sylvia from B Hawaii. Mahalo.
Aloha and good evening. Thank you, Chair, for inviting B Hawaii, and thank you to our board members for allowing just a short time. My name is Sylvia Hussey. I'm the Executive Director for B Hawaii, and our organization is founded based on Auntie Betty Jenkins and her 4 Bs, and our project is called Le Po'ina Ole Project. And it is a grant from the American for Native Administration, an ANA grant. Some of you may be familiar with an ANA grant. And really the project is very simple. It is to increase the amount of lei flower growers. We know that our precious flowers such as pikake, pakalana, ilima, maile, these flowers have been getting less and less. They're more and more difficult to get. And these are flowers that have been grown by ohana as for generations. You have them in your community. Often they are your own ohana that have been growing lei flowers, whether it is in Kaimuki and Pekake or Ilima or Pakalana here in this community. So the project is really about supporting lay flower growers. And support looks like perhaps helping with the seedlings or helping with some disease or pests that they may have. As you know, there are beetles, pests, bugs, all kinds of things. The project is focused on the island of Oahu, Molokai, and Hawaii Island. And so we are here to just share what the project is about. The project doesn't take any of the production. The production is intended to have families, ohana, Hawaiian civic clubs, homestead, schools, any groups that want to grow lei flowers and be able, so the project will help to provide either the seedlings, benches, greenhouses, things that can help a family or individual to grow more lei flowers. And the production is, it's kept by the families. So the project doesn't take any of the production. We are there to support lay growers, help with any kind of systemic issues. For example, one of the questions was, how do you get a lay stand at the airport? And there have been families who have had lay stands at the airport, and then you've also observed that some of those lay stands are getting less and less, and they're getting compressed, and families are not able to provide their lays. The other thing is that we have noticed that there is a lot of imported lei flowers, and nothing wrong with orchids, but they're not homegrown, they're not Hawaii grown, they're not Ohana grown. They also look, but they don't have the fragrance. And so the project is about lei flower growing. It's about protecting the practices. We have had stories from our lei flower growers to be able to, their grandparents grew. They have certain practices that they know. There are certain family members that they know that their hand is really good at certain things. So if it's growing lei flowers, they'll ask this certain uncle or this auntie because they have the hand or they have the experience. We also have lei flower growers that have given stock. They've been cultivating, for example, Ilima stock, and they have shared that Ilima stock with their community. So the project is just simply that. We have here at the community site a little flyer, and I understand that the flyer will be put in the community Dropbox or so Google Drive, Kalamai, so that those online, you can go there and see what that is. But it's simply that, and it's simply for awareness. And if anyone is interested, please, you can, the flyer has a little QR code that can indicate whether you're interested in, you know, certain plants, what we call complementary lei plants. So that could be palapalai, tea, pohinahina, other kinds of lei complementary flowers. And so that's it, Chair, and we thank you for providing some time for the project to share about the Lei Puina Ole project. And if anybody wants to come up and ask, please do so.
Mahalo, Sylvia, for being here. I know, given the opportunity, it was amazing to hear from our lay grower generational families here locally in our on our coast. So I appreciate your guys' work on this project. Is there any questions from board regarding the project? Okay, I have board member Kalei and then board member Ganaban.
Hi, thank you for sharing about the flower production and stuff. I growing up, I spent a lot of my summers in Waimea and a lot of flower production up there. I got to meet Marie McDonald, who is the author of Kale, the book about lei making. And seeing a lot of the stuff that they made. My daughters all learned how to do lei making hakus and so on and so forth. But the one big concern is it's almost like it's a production that's kind of it's disappearing, you know, especially the cultivation of it. It's not, it can be not so rewarding and strenuous, especially if you're trying to make any limale. You know, it takes a lot of flowers just to make one of those, and those leis aren't cheap. You know, if you're trying to recover some kind of cost or stuff like that. Is there anything that is like any incentives out there that the state is trying to put together with agriculture or something like that would help or encourage more people to actually grow um, certain flowers on and it doesn't have to be the whole entire property, but even just on the outskirts, you know, just something, you know, to help supplement whatever crops that they do and stuff like that, just to have the shrubbery there, and then where other people can come and pick and that will, because I know I understand picking or you know harvesting it is a big issue, but a lot of the people that do lei making and do that, they just don't have the resources. Yeah, they have a lei stand and they can import because that's the easier thing to do, but to actually have the resources that um, so available so that they could go and just pick. If there's some kind of incentive for these different farmers that grow different fruits or whatever, and just have that on their property. I mean, if there's something like that, I think that would possibly work because we had a lot of lay farmers out here. You know, we had a little Pacalana farm that's gone. Those plants are all gone. We have plumeria, which isn't indigenous to Hawaii, but it is a big part of, you know, the lei making culture. And even that is kind of coming down to a dying generational issues there because a lot of these kids that grew up doing this stuff don't want to do it as adults, you know. But again, if that's something that you guys can look into where just these people have little corners on their property, you know, big farm lots and stuff like that, they can just have that space available for them.
Thank you. So one, Mrs. McDonald, Marie McDonald was my 8th grade teacher at Kohala High School. And as you said, right, from art, but her lei and her book. As it relates to incentives, we are trying to work with the farming community in terms of intercropping, food production, as well as lei flower production. One of the policies that the project has made sure we state first is that propagate on island, disseminate on island. We're not going to propagate in Natakuli and go ship it off to Molokai, right? From rapid ohia death to coconut rhinoceros to all of those things. So that's why actually tomorrow we're heading off to Molokai to have a Molokai to see a propagation site on Molokai. So that systemic connection of trying to ensure resources and get into networks that are already there. It's not just food, right? Food, flowers, you get bees, you get honey, and many farms who are doing those integrated kind of practices wanting to be a part of those networks as well. So exactly that, to look at those resources. The other piece that you mentioned is families have told us that they grew up, wake up early, go pick flowers, get on the bus, go school, or grandma is on the train and then goes into Chinatown. And that's hard work. And people, kids, they don't have that anymore. And so to your idea about certain parts of that maybe they can try something different that's there. So they may be growing plumeria, but there's something else that can grow in a little spot in there. And that's also part of the project. One of the big collaborations is at the College of Tropical Ag in Pearl City, that Oahu Urban Garden. like right in the middle of the freeway by the, what is that? Office Depot, Home Depot, right in the middle, you see all those. Well, there are 3 trial sites as part of the project. One is the greenhouse where they do lettuce as well as mile trials. They're doing some cuttings on mile, crown flower in that greenhouse. There is a second plot trial that they're doing trials on palapalai. And then there's a third trial, which used to be a rose garden, but they have replanted plumeria, and specifically plumeria that have, there's 200 to 300 varieties that they have down at the Waimanalo station, but they have chosen the ones that have the hardiest of petals, the brilliance of the color, and then the scent. And so part of the project is to have them help us think about that, and then also help plumerias bloom all year round, right? Because there's a season for plumeria, but because we're in a very warm, conducive, part of the trial learning is to help the plumeria think it's sunny all year round, so it blooms all year round. So yeah, so part of the project is establishing these collaborations with the university to help with the EK that they can provide.
Mahalo,
With-
Board Member Ganaban. And then Board Member Endo, and if anybody has a question online, you can just raise your hand so I can call on you, please.
Chair, I got a question after too.
Thank you. You actually covered a lot of the things that I was going to ask about, because in Waianae, although it's a shrinking community of land, you know, because a lot of the new development have moved out on plants and trees, but we still have older communities that's still in place that have all the flowers and the different type of plumerias that they are growing. But what we don't have is the pickers to say, okay, come pick. You can go pick and take, because and that's why a lot of it is just wasted. So I think if you guys could come up, you know what I mean? The laymakers could kind of, you know, identify, and because you can drive down and you can see all the plants and you can see it there. And obviously nobody's marketing it. You know, that's another option I think that would bring back, because I think people have no problem in growing it. But again, it's the hard work of picking it and bringing it to the market. So they're willing to just give it away. Like myself, I'm willing to give away my flowers rather than pick it and try to bring it in.
So the project would encourage a collaboration with a school, a halal, a faith-based community to help with that, right? So part of the fruit of the labor is to help with the hana, right? So come in early and then, okay, you come in early. There are those, right? You pick early in the morning. There are others who say, if you wait till right after lunch, the scent is as intense and it lasts longer. And those are the kinds of practices that we want to uplift, because that's Ike from growers after generations of that. So yeah, so we would encourage the grower or a collaboration with, and that's why we've been to Farrington High School, Dole Middle, Kaimuki Middle. We just went to Nanakuli. Thursday, we're going to Waianae. Friday, we're going to Waipahu, because all of the high schools have natural resource academies, right? They have water. That's a really important thing. And then they have the Ike, and then they have the business academy that they can complement the growing side of it. Yeah. So part of the project is establishing those networks to be able to support not only through the schools, but the surrounding community. But thank you for that, Ike.
Mahalo, Mr. Endo, and then Board Member Vahilani.
I was going to bring up the schools, because I know the schools have the different programs, but even I think the colleges now are, right? You might want to check with them. I know we kind of partnering with this guy from West Oahu, and he's doing this coconut tree project. So he planted trees and he's monitoring how the thing coming out.
Yeah, Manu Meyer, right? New knowledge. So
Right.
we actually have a site visit with her on Friday the 15th.
Cool. Thank you.
And then Waipahu is connected with Leeward Community College, which is connected with the CTAR program in Pro City. So to your point, making those connections and extending that. Yeah. Thank you.
Right, and then Board Member Vahilani, and then we will move on to our next presentation.
Hello, Sylvia. I see Go Cowboys. Paula.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Sylvia, my question is kind of like piggybacking off of Kalei Wilbur's board members about incentivizing, the farmers and whoever, would like to grow this, and it's so that we keep, because when you so my thought was, is there any collaboration or would incentivizing or subsidizing fundings from HVB, because I truly I believe they have a budget, right? And they're promoting Hawaii. What is Hawaii without flowers, right? So
Mhm.
I just was wondering about that, Sylvia.
So I think,
Question.
so I think that's a great collaboration. So there are 6 categories in the presentation. You'll see the 6 categories. One of the categories is hotels, right? Much as you got herb gardens all over the place, well, there can be lay gardens. And we've already talked to someone at one of the hotels in Waikiki to have a lay garden for not only your guests programming, but also your own employee programming, that you can grow lay flowers there on property and be able to share the ike and that. And that goes with, that's a great collaboration with Hawaii Visitors Bureau and to uplift that. So thank you for that suggestion and tie-in to ensure that we haku, if you will, all of those elements to increase the lay growing and really the respect too, right? So sometimes when people don't know and they get a lay, they just throw the lay or they put them in their rubbish can in the hotel room. And if they would know the value of that and the proper treatment of that and the opportunities there to share that with them. So thank you for acknowledging and reminding us of that connection.
Mahalo,
Mahalo.
Sylvia. Once again, go Cowboys.
Mahalo.
Thank you, Kakohu. Okay, so before we move on, if anybody in the audience has any questions, if you guys can just come to the mic, and if we can be as brief as possible so we can move on to the next agenda item. Go ahead. State your name for the record, please.
Michael William Capolino, Eli.
Mahalo.
Before the fire came in Macau, I think so they was planting, they had Maile in Macau above the water tank, but the water catchment went burned. So I don't know if they still doing it, but they had them, because you gotta have them certain elevation where they can drive the Maile. And then that's Yumi Watershed Management Program. That's who does that. And they're doing all on the side of the road now in Macau and Waianae. They're doing that's the watershed management. So whatever people like plant or whatever, that's who you guys gotta get to, Yumi. And then like where I take care of fire break, that's one certain elevation too. So I wonder if you can plant Miley up there. I know I can see Ilima up there, wild Ilima inside where I stay, Punana Ula. Hey, I'll get Miley all over there. Not Miley, but Ilima. Allah.
Mahalo for your Ike. Any other community members have questions for the project? If you guys do have any questions later on, you are more than welcome to send me an email and I can put you in contact with Sylvia. But thank you so much, Sylvia, for your time. Travel safely. And then to our next presentation, we have Philip Ganaban. Emergency access through Kole Kole Pass. While he's setting that up, I just want to go back to announcement of we will, for the sake of time, we'll keep the 2-minute for community concerns. In the case that there is more lengthier community concerns, if you guys can write them down so we can address them in different committees or get them to the appropriate departments. And then if all questions and concerns can be addressed to the chair, and we're just going to respect everyone's views or concerns that they might address this evening. And again, mahalo for being here. While we're still waiting, I just want to say mahalo to Rep. Kila and Senator Favela for being here. We appreciate you guys. And this is not an agenda item, but I just want to say mahalo to one of our youth. You gonna go? Okay.
Okay, we did have a great meeting with Joint Task Force Red Hill, with multiple agencies from the military. Darius Kila was there, Miley Shimukura was there, Crass was there regarding it. And what it actually talked about was not only the access for Kole Kole Pass, but the joint task between the community members and what the military can offer. And that's why last month, and some of you guys were here, you guys heard me talking or telling Mr. Lau to be transparent, to tell the truth. And a lot of that is because the military has established a lot of the areas in Waianae itself. Our canals was developed by the Army engineers. Our harbor itself was created by the Army of Engineers. Our water system itself, our enclosed water system, was actually developed by the Navy and along with the Army engineers. So we had a great cohesiveness with the community and armed forces. And now a lot of it is to talk about the access to Kole Kole Path, access to Makua because the lease is coming up, and being able to have community engagement with those areas for cultural access. And the main topic they talked about, which was really nice because I have not seen the elders sit with uniformed people before and without violence or without anybody getting angry or throwing things at each other. And that was very complimentary to see. So thank you for, thank the Community Kapuna Council for that, as long as those who was able to present. Anyway, one of the biggest issues as well was emergency access. Emergency access, how do we egress out of the Waianae in case of an emergency? And so this is the other part I wanted you guys, the community, to know is that the military has great emergency programs in place that has not been incorporated with us in a long time. And so we need to bring that back. And so I know one of the areas was Kole Kole Path, and Darius had brought that up before about it not being ready to be used as an egress point. And I agree with that. So we do have a current visit for the area to update, and hopefully we can get more photos of the update condition of it to show individuals that it is viable to have it as an emergency access, but is not at this time and as a viable point to use at this time. So we have to look at different areas through the valleys of having staging points regarding parking, regarding hard wall buildings, in case we have to egress out, there is capabilities. Okay. Well, then also the long-term run is how do we get the water issue? We all been coming up with Red Hill, right? And Board of Water Supply was coming up here saying, okay, this is reason why we're going to be increasing our funding is our cost is because we need to pay for these infrastructures to happen. And if you guys were here last month, I was arguing with them because the military has these infrastructures themselves. The military itself is a small community, but they have these communities. They have teamed up with University of Hawaii. They have teamed up with other agencies to develop water systems around the world. Why aren't they here doing it? Why is our valleys dry and everybody, and why are they claiming that we're getting water from outside of our area? So this is the other part I wanted to bring awareness. The military, DOD, as well as the Navy, has funded with DOFA, with DLNR, to be able to bring back and regenerate our watersheds. The fence lining you guys see in Makaha Valley, that was part of a federal grant. So now they also are doing it in the Waiava area as well, making all these fence lines, getting rid of invasive species, which include feral goats, pigs, wild boars, and putting up these fence lines so they can bring back reduce the invasive species and bring back the trees that is natural to the area that will actually repercolate the watersheds. So these are a lot of things that we're worried about, as well as in right now what we're seeing during our biggest rainfalls is in Makaha. We don't have the infrastructure right now to support what's in place. Those infrastructures is not even on the books. They don't look at it as regular waterways, but as soon as it rains, it starts flooding everything out. So we need to start as communities, not just looking at how we're going to get water, how we're going to get, where our housing increasing, but being able to address what we have in place, which is not being kept up. And that's our natural waterways. It has not been kept up for a long time or even being recognized. So when they come in, they see all these flooding. These people who are now in control of it, they don't know our area. They use university studies for other areas, but they don't know our area. And so we need to bring that to awareness. I'm 52 years old, and all the people above me are slowly passing away who knew the area that could educate people about the way the water runs. And one of them was No'ulu Road. They're like, where all this water came from? It never happened before. Well, development happened above you guys and above you guys that redirected all that waterway and made it all come down. It always happened. Behind Ikioni had a natural waterway, and it brings it all the way down to what we call Cabbage Hill. What road is that, Mr. Endo? Cabbage Hill? Or remember behind Makaha? It ran all the way behind the Maka Elementary. You know what I mean? And those are things that we have to look at. And so it's all back roads. Yes, it was all the back roads. We know it. And so all these containers. And so we have to look at that. And we have to also incorporate what DOD has. They're here. They are here with us. We need to utilize their services. We're already paying into these services. We're paying federal money. We're paying federal taxes. The military, the DOD operates based on the taxes we give them. Take that back, put into our infrastructure, not just our roads, but into redeveloping and putting back into our community. But that is basically what it was just showing the access and then being able to understand that we need an emergency access. We need a plan in place. And the current plan in place is not viable. Because we experienced that how many times with Iniki, with Eva, with the tsunamis that came through, and we all had to run to higher ground. A lot of us ended up at the camp, which is very close to the ocean. We think about it, right? But it is considered a safe place. But today our community has grown twice as large. Where do we go? We don't have Macau Sheraton anymore for the Macau residents to just shoot up there. It's all overrun, it's closed off. Waianae Valley is now double its size in development. Where do we have staging area for that? Lu'ulo'ole, where do we have staging areas for that? And these are things that we already have in place, areas that should have been in place that has been overlooked and not cared for or redeveloped into other use. Okay. Any questions? Sorry, I tried to make it fast.
Thank you for that. And you just brought up a great point as far as a lot of our kupunas had passed on with the Ike, which is one thing that I was about to just like tie into is the importance of encouraging our youth to participate today. Because number one, there are future leaders. Two, so that they know the history that we as a board, that we as a community is working towards. So again, I just want to appreciate one of our youth members here today. Cece, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just trying to encourage community that we have to include our keiki in these discussions because you guys are our future. You guys are tomorrow, so I appreciate you taking the time and being here. But so that is very much valid as far as we need to connect with our kupuna and our keiki and then ourselves to really know what is the history and why we're seeing some of the effects that we're seeing today in the community. So mahalo for this. Any board members, questions? And if we can be a little bit brief, we definitely are going a little bit over our presentation time. And I know there's some concerns that would like to be addressed tonight.
Thank you, Philip, for doing this presentation. Thank you, Chair. There's a lot of man-made canals that have been implemented and stuff like that. And a lot of these studies have they taken those, as far as evacuation and stuff like that, they taken those man-made canals into consideration because when you start funneling water into those areas and they end up getting up into the valleys or up into low-lying flat plain areas, that water is going to try and go other places, so Pa'akea is out of the question to try and get to that emergency access point. If a tsunami was to hit in that area, that would pretty much cut off Waianae and Makaha from trying to get out of this area here. So even if we went up the backside of Lehoku and got onto the base somewhere somehow over there, we still got to get there, but are those other things, other types of routes or emergency gates that we can access, because we're not going to be able to get to Nanakuli if something like that happens. You know,
And that is true. And that's why that's why I'm saying is that we have to look at alternative areas within our own mokus. You know what I mean? Within Makaha, within Waianae, within Luulule, within Nanakuli itself. Because if you can divide the emergency egress into into staging areas of those districts, then you make it a lot easier. You would free up Farrington Highway for emergency vehicles, for those who need to cross over. We have the parallel roads, which is low, which is good. But then when you start putting the whole community on, which every day, if you drive from town in the morning and back home, we all fall into that same traffic. So imagine that deadlock being for an emergency to get out. You know what I mean? But moving by car not gonna be an option. You're gonna be stuck there. And so we need to really look at, and this is where the problem is our state, our city, we look for them, but what is the comeback? We need no more money. So start using agencies that have the money. And we haven't been tapping them for a while.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Um,
I'd like to say something, Chair.
Go ahead. Board Member Lanford.
You know, when I was with the Nanakuli board and we worked on a contraflow way back in 2010, one of the main reasons the contraflow was put in was because of the 4 stoplights when you enter Nanakuli. Soon as you hit that 4 stoplights, for some reason it bottlenecks. So once you pass that area, you get to McDonald's, all of a sudden all the cars disappeared. You have no idea where the thing went, you know? So we were looking at plans to go up to Koli Koli to try to, you know, ease something. But because Koli Koli is impassable, and it's been impassable for the last 12 years, as far as I know, we looked at Nanakuli High School up at our ranch. And there was an area there where they connect because Hawaiian Electric goes up there, and they have a couple of stations, and they have a dirt road that goes all the way to Walmart, you know. And I was I was allowed a 4-wheeler, me and 2 other guys, and we went on a property and we drove all the way to Kunia, and we thought Kunia was great because it hasn't developed yet. The roads haven't developed yet, so it might be a possibility to add another lane for our traffic. However, we've been stuck because the federal government says there's no money to help us with any of the highways unless it feeds the general public. So it has to, you know, we're looking at getting in and out of Waianae. That's our, you know, main concern. But the federal government not looking at it that way. The federal government looking at everybody that's in between the proximity from Waipahu to Waianae should be able to get on it. But when my team and I looked at it, we were looking just to get out of Dodge, you know. So we were looking, we selfish, we're looking at us guys, right? But that's not what they want, you know. So I've been pushing and begging and crawling and everything else. And even my friend Vico there, I pick on him every other meeting. I go to the water well, but I don't mean it, you know, personal. We're desperate out here. We need one other road. You know, Farrington Highway is great. Even if you add another lane, it's
Wrapping
great,
it
but
up, Mr.
you still stay on Farrington Highway. There's, you know, it's stuck.
Yes, no, and I agree
Thank
with
you.
that, Uncle Richard. And what Uncle Richard is talking about is that the federal government in the past didn't look at us as part of our, you know what I mean, as the way it should be looked at, as being a community of need. However, that has shifted since Red Hill. So guess what? While the door is open, we need to apply for those grants. They're funneling grants for homeless. Why can't they funnel more grants for the road work? And that was the hard part. When Senator Inouye passed away, we lost our biggest leg in there. Senator Inouye was established long enough where he had enough say to have roads built. And that's why in Big Island, they had this extra saddle, you know, road built next to Saddle Road to cut through, because that was the senator that actually could make things happen. So now today, it's obvious we don't have money, but there's federal grants. And so we need to make sure that we hold whoever's, and that's the other key there. is making sure that the federal grants are accountable for, because they're giving us for money for homeless and other projects, but then we're not being accountable for it. So we see all these homeless people out here, but we don't see where the money is going to. We know the money is coming in, but where's this money going to? You know, and one of the biggest ice wars right now they're talking about is Governor Green regarding Maui. So these are things that we're also looking at. The federal government has released all this money. Where is it going? Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. Community.
We're gonna go to community. If anybody else has a question regarding the presentation, please come to the microphone.
Aloha mai kako. My
Aloha.
name is Raquel Raki, and this is pertaining to your presentation. So this weekend, I went to the Kaha Valley for the watershed rehabilitation.
Yes.
And what the mission said was that Lualele Naval Road is like a safe zone for a lot of those pigs. So they'll see them like in herds congregating there because no one can access that area. So I think that's something that should be taken care of. And we're working on a project of reestablishing ourselves in Makaha Valley at the old golf course to mitigate fires and to replenish the water system and have a community center there that is free and accessible for the 96792 community and then open to the rest of the public. So if anybody's interested in that, I'll be here to the end. Thank you.
Mahalo, Raquel.
Appreciate that, Raquel.
Aaron Kaniayakla. Excuse me. I was wondering if I saw on the Department of Transportation, they're using $51 million to wrap the sidewalk, you know, and do another extra little lane for, I'm not sure, motorbikes, I'm not sure. I'm wondering if this is part of, well, you say this is about Koli, there's no passable way. And I was wondering, what was I wondering? Shoot, there is a lot of money. Department of Transportation's got a lot of money to build these roads. So we're not strapped where it looks like you're talking about Illinois. That was the last of our grants. Yeah, we needed it to slow down here. There's like people living in the bush, in the brush, in the trees, right? So now
Yes.
this land is sold, getting sold to state people that are from the DOD and the state of Texas, state of Nevada. Okay, so what's the rush now to dig up our water, bring the water up? Because we are not running out of water here. Is it because you guys need to build more homes for DOD and state of Hawaii, representatives, and the state, the whole United States?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so the whole idea is the DOD is not expanding their presence here, is utilizing their tools they have within our community.
Mahalo.
Hey, aloha again, Mike. I'm not Kuligaon shelter, that's the high school, right? And our
Yes.
shelter is this gym or Makai Elementary, Waianae Elementary, you know what I mean? We gotta have one more higher ground. At least one in Waianae and one in Makaha. You know what I mean? For the Makaha residents, they're like, run, no, we're not gonna go gridlock the highway, right? It's going straight up above where the zones there of the, when the waves come, the thing gonna come,
The tsunami zone.
gonna come. We dodged 3 of them,
I said-
not dodging them, we never dodge them.
We were lucky.
Yeah,
We were lucky.
but that's the rest is one, the hurricane, you can go over here to the gyms and the high school
Yes.
and lock down your house, but the tsunamis is the one.
We're in
Me,
the
I
zone.
head for the hills.
Yeah, we're in-
I get the key, I head for the hills.
Hi, my name is Maizana, and I just, you know, I know DOD has the monies, but do we have a realistic plan? I'm sure they have no problem giving the money, but they want something concrete.
That is true.
They need something real
That is true.
that they can work with. they need to know the positive and the negative sides of each before they even start thinking about plowing or giving monies.
That is
So
true.
I really, I don't know if there's a group of people that actually, I mean, we've been talking about an access road for years,
That is true.
but there's no definite plan that they can actually say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we, and it's just like another year going by. So, I'm just hoping that there's a group, that can get together and actually like talk to the hunters, the people that go in the mountains, kupunas that know exactly where we can, make that route to get into our,
No, thank
island.
you. And
Thank you.
that's pretty much my PowerPoint would have identified that. I apologize. We had some problems with it. So I've been winging it without the visuals. But the whole idea, yes, we have these infrastructures in place, but we can't even get to them. We have an emergency access road. We have a bridge in Anaculi that was spent how much money on it? And we don't even use it. So we have all this infrastructure, but we're not able to use it. And why? Why aren't we able to use it? So having the DoD money, DoD funding is just an extra portion. But right now we need to get to our red tape to be able to utilize what we have. And hopefully now we got the community together, we can actually move forward and pivot into these directions. And exactly what happened up in, for example, another issue that's been happening is the hunters, well, they call them poachers on ranch land. At what point do you consider them a hunter versus a poacher and a rancher being able to protect themselves, right? The right to gather, that is our law. We have a right to gather, but then you have individuals who are violating that right.
Right.
That's affecting everybody else.
So I'm gonna go to the last question, but I also just wanna state, so there is discussions on this, and I know Waianae Kupuna Council has taken on discussion on this, and also just as far as our emergency evacuation plan, but also when we have things like the Waianae Sustainabilities Plan, when they have QR codes throughout the community, like we need to take heed to those things and do the QR codes and the surveys, because that is our voice and our Ike on these plans. So I just want to encourage community to, when we see those QR codes and things hanging, the signs, that's the best way we know to reach to the community. And that's not directly the neighborhood board doing it, but when we see things for surveys, we want to try as much as possible to participate. And sometimes they're very lengthy, but that's where our voice can be heard with the planners, whether it's city, state, or if it's DOD that's putting it out. That's our participation in what the next plan or the next step is that we see as a community and our vision. So just encouraging everybody to participate in those things, or even if it's our legislators putting out questionnaires on, us sharing our Ike on what the historical points and things are. But thank you, Philip. So I'm gonna let Inez ask her question, and then we're moving to the next agenda item.
Yes, mahalo. So there's some interesting things going on in the chat. There's
Sorry, can you state your name for the record, please?
sorry, Chair, mahalo. My name is Inez. So just to comment, and this is directed at Philip, board member Ganaban. So there's some interesting things going on in the chat, and there's actually a bill to create an act by Representative Gates that went through today to form an acting party. So I know that we need emergency access in the case of a fire. I'm not thinking tsunami, I'm thinking fire. So this is going to take time. I read the article that mentioned the budget that the military is considering. I understand that that area that passed in that upper area of the Mauna is all part of the Waianae Ahupua. But what my question is, in the meantime, is there anything included in this that would help us with any kind of like fire evacuation plans? Like if we were to have a fire like at the magnitude of Lahaina and would need to get out, knowing that the military is blocking off the roads or has contributed to the situation that we're in like today, have they offered any support other than to just say, yeah, we're interested in maybe sitting at the table and talking to you guys? Mahalo.
So I can answer that. So there has funding, the ledge has approved fundings with partnership for Kole Kole Pass. So the military hasn't put us into this area here. Our development of our community has put us in here because as they started developing, they never put in more infrastructure into getting in or out of our community. So that's what we have to understand. The DOD was part of building our infrastructure that the state has asked for, but they weren't part of the blocking of it. It's the presence of our community expanding. So we have two areas that was recently developed, right? And Pukai Bay is above Pukai Bay, above Longs is one of them, and in Maili was one of them, right? So that added into more infrastructure that was created, and then now we have micro developments that are actually being put in. So it's building more stress on the infrastructure that we have now, and that's what we need to look at: is how do we, what we have now, the tools we have, and resources available for us to mitigate these future issues that can happen. Thank you.
Mahalo. Thank you, Philip, for your presentation. So we're moving to agenda item number 5, and that's residents and community concerns. We, if you guys can please just line up at the microphone so we can go to the next person quickly. And then also right now we're going to leave it at 2 minutes, but in the case that the line is long, we will cut it down to 1 minute so that we can get through the agenda. We will not be having an open dialogue during this part of the meeting. So we're not going to be able to answer the questions right now, but if you guys can please fill out the form in the back with your questions so that we can get it to the appropriate departments. And then state your name for the record when you come to the microphone, please. Community.
Yes.
Are we ready?
I wanted to thank it was a concern because I brought it up about the traffic jam was at Kalailoa 2 meetings ago. And the police officer said there's nothing you can do unless you want to hire a police officer. So there was adjustments made that particular event.
We got announcement pertaining to that.
Okay.
Can do it in a minute.
I will open the floor for their concerns and stuff, and then I'll let you got it. Okay, mahalo for waiting. Go ahead. State your name for the record, please.
My name is Sabrina Grace. I live up Waianae Valley. One of my concerns is this Keolamamu farm, where they have horseback riding. My granddaughters and I walk up there every now and then to exercise. Sometimes the horses get loose, yeah? Fortunately, we're horse people. We know what to do. But I have a concern about the caretaker, Stanford Kauhani. He's a sex offender, and I want to know if he's registered there. But sometimes I cannot accompany my granddaughters up there. And there's other people that walk too. So bless, I would want you to check into that. I left my email, if you may. Mr. Ganaban, you write on with this access road. Go ask Miley where $1 million they did to do the study, okay? My other concern is Noholio Road. My mom, Polly Grace Granny, was on the neighborhood board forever. We started 20 years ago one homeless farm. We have 3. I learned a lot from that and about drug rehabilitation with family members having drugs and people in the community. You can't put an organization like that anywhere, especially by old people, by schools and children. Clean and sober houses are good, but not everybody that goes there want to be clean. They come out, they come into our neighborhood, they commit crimes. And now I see that RISE wants to bring their troubled youth in our community. We get our own troubled youth that we're trying to handle. We need to take this rehabilitation thing out of our community so our community can heal. Take it to Kalailua, where you get hospitals, social workers, everybody that can work on them. We're only bringing more trouble here. Yeah?
We need to fix our homeless. We need to fix our own youth. So I have a petition that I want you guys to support because Rise and any more clean and sober houses do not belong in our community. Thank God the 25 families that we got off the beach, they're all sober, they're all working, they're all good, but it's not a chore for people that don't have the experience. And not having a family member do drugs is enough experience to handle people like that. So I strongly suggest that you guys help this Makaha community because they're part of us. Get Rise, get this clean and sober houses in Kalailua where they belong, where they can get the help. One more thing. I am the daughter-in-law of Albert Silva. The 50 years that he had Ohikilola Ranch, and when he went to hang that sign there, never had violence. You guys need to make Don Chang from DLNR turn the law enforcement to Jordan Law, who's a new law enforcement agency. He is eager, he's qualified, he's retired FBI, so he can come down here and handle the boat harbor and handle the hunters, because we're going to get more killings. And if you go and search, Bless, I was hoping Cedric Gates was here. If you go and search, you cannot take guns in a mountain. That's one of the things. It's all seasonal. You cannot even take dogs from time to time. So please, you guys, the Waianae Neighborhood Board, next month when I come back, I'd like to have some answers. You represent me. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Hello, I'm Austin Salcedo. I support this petition. This petition, the language in there is for Noholeo Road because of the RISE, Residential Youth Services and Empowerment. We protest and object to that. In this petition also speaks about the shelter on this 40-acre property on the Kalawaha. We protest and object to this type of operations coming to our way. More so, RISE, I have an email from Carla Hauser, dated December 18th, speaks about this Noholeo project. She's going to partnership with Alternative Structures International. And I want to give you folks a copy of this, put them into the record. Reason why I'm saying this, ASI was a project land management for Kauhali Kamaile on Farrington Highway across the high school gym. I have another notice of this area, of this address of the Kauhali Kamaile. From the time they started of 2019 to September 5th, 2022, when they had the stabbing. Up to that point, those 2 years, had 134 911 calls. They are operated by the city land management, not the DPP. They don't have no conditional use permit or an arch type of permit. Now, once they got given a citation for this 134 911 calls. So being that partnership coming in our way,
30 seconds.
I'm demonstrating that partnership with ASI, Alternative Structure International, is not a good idea. They operate Kahumana. That Kahumana, I've been talking to people who's been previously employed. They've been changing their operations. Is that collusion? That's in question. So there should be an audit of all this type of operations coming our way. The shelter is trying to make it our way as well too on Kalawaha. We protest and object to this because you're going to have all these bad behaviors. We have enough bad behaviors because of the shortfall
Mahalo.
of the HPD and the DLNR, the mountain hunting zone D Delta is up on the ridge line. It's a hunting zone approved by the DLNR, and they have a shortfall. Look at Ohikilola Ranch. The mismanagement of that operation. 2, law enforcements. 1, quit. I have his resignation letter. He stated because of his pay that he was promised, his first step increase, that's what that's what he's living on. He's supposed to have the second and third. He's supposed to be going to the third. They have a mismanagement on their pay. That's upper management problem. The second one is the first line supervisor. I called him up. Where are you guys? Oh, sorry, sir. His name is David Kiabi. He is suspended. And he is a veteran DLNR, first line
I
supervisor.
don't see DLNR online yet. I know they were requested to be present tonight.
I can question that because this debt of
But we're gonna
Mr.
move
Pia.
on to the next.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Mahalo.
but we will give you the petition,
Yes.
support of that.
Thank you. We will talk about that. Go ahead. Mahalo, Rep Gates, for being online, and Senator Miley Shimabukuro. Go ahead. Thank you. Please state your name for the record.
Aloha, my name is Ashley Acosta, and I'm in support of the petition. I do oppose the RISE residential program that is being introduced on Naholia Road. My grandparents are the neighboring property that have lived there for more than 50 years. My parents are also the neighboring property next to this foundation that they're trying to build there, and they've been there for over 40 years. My whole understanding is it has the word youth in it, but I read the description and it says it's from ages 18 to 25. So this tells me that this is not a youth program. You know, with the Waianae community, it is reaching the youth at a certain age before they develop into young adults to get them on a better path. But it sounds like these are young adults that are going to be residing next to my grandparents, my parents. We have children there. Naholia Road is a road that it has generational families there with seniors and young children, and we just don't feel comfortable with this program that they are going to be building there. Like, what is the plan after they're 25 years old? If they can no longer live there, do they come out on the streets of the Waianae Coast? There's no jobs for them to find out here, so they will have to go out of the Waianae Coast to find jobs. So what is the reason to bring them out here? You know, so I do oppose them trying to build this facility on Naholia Road.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
And then moving to the
Hello,
next.
my name is Ken Suiso. I also want to support the petition. I have two properties, both that are near both of these proposed areas, both the Noholeo and the Kalawaha one. And as I previously stated before, I have a background in emergency management. It's a really bad idea, particularly with the Kalawaha, doing a shelter up there. You heard a related topic today. We're talking about evacuation out of the area. You're going to they want to put a shelter in a fire risk area, a landslide area, flooding area. And furthermore, if they don't develop it right, it's going to cause a lot of problems downstream, particularly Makah, which could end up, if not done properly, with Makah being totally isolated because, you know, that if you lose that one bridge here, Makah is absolutely, we are isolated from the rest of the island. Makah is the most isolated. So, and as that was discussed here, we don't have an evacuation area out of here for a tsunami, for a hurricane. And if we have a large Cat 4 hurricane with storm surge, you wouldn't be safe right here. You'd be dead if you stayed right here. So I am opposed to that. And as everybody else said, this is not the place for people to have, there aren't jobs out here. Everybody has to leave and go, and it increases and makes the traffic worse. And, you know, they're not neighbors you want to have. I mean, unfortunately, I don't. And thank you for your time.
Mahalo.
Aloha mai kako, Rakalaraki. I'm a resident of Noholio Road and I support this petition because the infrastructure doesn't allow it. I had over a foot of moving water on my property after this rain and it was all red dirt from, I'm guessing, the construction from the gated community that they had just finished and some other construction around. And it's just not a great place to have people walking up and down the road that's so far from the bus line and it's not lit. And we need more green spaces to absorb all of these waterways instead of developing them with concrete and more homes. Thank you.
Mahalo. If anybody online has any concerns, please raise your hand and I will call on you. Mahalo.
Hi, I'm Kevin McClintock, also from Noholio Road. And I just wanted to, if there's anybody from DPP, I want to maybe get a status on the flooding that happened a couple weeks ago. Is there a DPP person here?
They are, but they won't be right now. You can ask your question and then maybe if they have time on their
Okay.
presentation portion, then they can answer it.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
follow up.
Okay, yeah. I just, I filed an incident report with the county with DPP and talked to some building inspectors and I just want to get a status. Nobody's contacted me for the last couple of weeks since then. So I just like to get a status on the flooding. If there's going to be anything done about it. Also for the petition, I'm also against the homecoming on Oleo Road. And as Raquel just said, there's no sewers out there. We're lacking infrastructure. There's no street lights. There's no curbs, there's no sidewalks, and that's not a good place to have a high density property. I've seen reports of 20 people on the property, 20 clients, and not having sewers, you're limited to having a cesspool or a septic system, which is limited to 5 bedrooms. So there are some limitations, there are hard limitations that be very expensive for them to get around and contribute to the density on that type of an area. That's primarily agriculture and zone agriculture and country. That's not a good idea, not keeping with good planning. And somewhere it's more dense like Kapolei would probably be more appropriate with the right type of services, the right type of infrastructure. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Ready. Hi. Hi, my name's Tamara Umiamaka. I'm a resident of Makaha. I've this is my first time being here. You know, I'm a renter, but I've lived at 3 different gated communities in the past 11 years. One being the towers, the other one was the cabanas, and now at the Surfside. You know, I've never been a rule breaker. I'm here to tell you some disturbing news because there was a hate crime that was committed against me. It was at the cabanas. You see, they are, I'm very scared because I've been retaliated against. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I came home to almost 2, well, it was 2 years ago. See, people are only worried about statute of limitations, but when you suppress things, it's obstruction to justice. I am an SSI recipient because the reason is because I'm a sexual assault survivor. I suffer from anxiety attacks and panic attacks because of it. And, you know, they had, anyways, I don't want to make this long, but what happened was I came home with groceries on February 1st, 2022, to be met with a police officer. And I was shackled, I was handcuffed, I was paraded around the property for 1 hour, put in one squad pod to another with the heater on. The female officer, L. Stevens, was missing from the report. She took off her badge. This has been hidden on every level. I have been blocked. I have been retaliated against. I put my family, I pushed them away and my friends because they have been retaliating and they have power and money. The police, I talked to the professional standards today, and okay, that's it. I just want people to know I am not a criminal and I will not be retaliated anymore. And I spoke to the mayor today because they have to do things fair. They are the biggest lawbreakers of the 90-day, 90-day fiance, 30-day vacation rental. You see all the lock boxes. I have proof of this, and I have more to say because you cannot shackle somebody for. I never got a write up. It was all redacted. I never got it. It was fraudulent. There was a camera on the guy's door. He was fired. No, he didn't have a guard license. Rico let him get his license. There is some kind of secret society going on, and that's all I have.
Mahalo. Thank you. Go ahead. You can go ahead, state your name for the record.
Peter Mulder, Macaw. I want to support the petition and say thanks to the Salcedos and everybody else that put in the hard work. Communities pushing, to hold on to some values. And I'd like to add that it's very undeveloped, no sidewalks and all that, with dark skies at night. And like it that way. Not advocating for lights, but it would be a horrible place for a non-youth drug rehab thing. So that's what I want to say. And concerned about everything going on too, politics wise, what I just heard about the cops. And concerned about, we get more cops out here. They gotta work for the people and not for the establishment. Aloha.
Mahalo. Anybody online that has a concern or question? Okay, go ahead.
Anybody online?
No.
Aloha.
2 minutes.
I'm Kale Salcedo. Like I always present myself, we're not a leader, but we're a voice for my kupunas. As you could hear the concern of my kupunas and on the petition, okay, that's one of the things. I will not sit down and take things lightly after what had happened near my other property, okay? Keao, I'm not going to take things lightly, but I am going to demand every department from city and state to wake up and smell the roses. I'm not going to sit there and wait for something to happen or have more mental health, drug addiction facilities coming into our community. We cannot help our own if we're going to keep inviting, okay? Before you invite, you better make sure you get your security. You better make sure you have a 7 foot to a 9 feet gate around that, because do not harm or put my kumpunas or my keikis in harm's way. Because too many things fell through the cracks from both every department. Too many things fell from the cracks. Now, I know Mr. Gates is online, okay? He's online. You have the West Side Story talking about how he's going to stand for his community, for protection, and be tougher on gun laws and everything. He announced it about the HB 2121,
40 seconds.
okay? To be tougher on this type of crimes. Well, hello, Mr. Rap. I look at the bill, I put it out today. HB 2121. It does not talk anything about ag land. Zero. Who the hell you think you're fooling? You can't do your job, then get the hell out of office. You're crippling your community.
Mahalo.
You're not going to hold us down again. We deserve better. If you cannot protect your community, don't call your constituent, because you're never here. I'm not letting you folks board members. You folks are the voice, okay? The advisory board. You know something is wrong. Stand up. Don't let no government department bully you folks around. Stand up. This is your community. We are hurting for years. Enough is enough. So, Mr. Gates, West Side Story, talking about being tougher. House Bill 2121. It does not protect our ag lands. It does not protect homeowners, landowners, nothing. You went Waianae school. So did I. No excuse.
Okay, we have one more in person.
Aaron Kaniakala. Okay, my question is, okay, there's so much money coming for the poor community of Waianae, as in the DOD. I mean, they got buku money for Ukraine and Israel to bomb the heck out of the Palestinians. I mean, hundreds. Yeah, it's going into the 1,000 billions of dollars. Okay. So, people have done without sidewalks because of the horses, right? Because they can actually gauge the mountains, like the animals, which would be normal, not like, military people needing training, because you got so many other training facilities. And why don't they just build that road all the way through Mokuleia? So they can just come in and go right back out. That would make sense than go through the mountain and disrupt it. And then I guess you're gonna need another gas station, right? Right, because you probably can't get from Makaha gas station. It'll be too filled, it'll be too packed, right? So you better go build one on Mokuleia side
15 seconds.
so no one can run out of gas and stay all night and populate and overpopulate the beaches and Mokuleia and have their good time. Thank you.
Mahalo. So, Rep Gates, I see your hand is up. Do you have a community concern or is this in response to anything?
Hello, Chair. I just wanted to share my community concern.
Okay, go ahead.
So, for my office, we are the state representative and we deal directly with state agencies. And I know a lot of times many of the community members believe that I should be out there with a gun and a badge going after bad people, sweeping our houseless folks off the beach and doing what they would like to see done. But the process that we have to deal with so that I don't end up in jail and so that
Sorry,
people
what
are
is your
treated
community
fairly
concern? I'm
is that
sorry.
the community
Can I have the
concern for
community
me is
concern,
that we need
please?
to direct our energy to the right departments and entities so that we get the best results and have productive conversations around the issues in our community and not just casting blame as I've been hearing from previous speakers, but actually trying to work with through the process
Okay,
rather than
Gates,
going
I'm
on
gonna
tangents about
stop
this.
you because I'm sorry, wait, hold on. So we're addressing a community concern. We're not directing anything to anybody else in the room. I had made 2 announcements about this. We are gonna be respectful to each other, and I understand the concerns was very directive, but we aren't gonna have an open dialogue on back and forth to state on either side. But there was an address of a concern from the community member, but I'm not going to open the floor for us to go back and forth. So if you can just get right to the concern, you have 40 seconds.
Yes, so going back to my concern is that our residents are not aware that we have processes that we have to work through and that we have to just be more mindful of the process that we as legislators and community members have to deal with to work towards those solutions. And I'll leave it at that.
Mahalo. Okay, anybody else online? I'm gonna come back in person. Mahalo, Rep Gates. Oh, I have one more online. Oh, sorry, if we could just want the, Inez, go ahead. Your hand is up.
Yes, mahalo, Chair. My name is Inez, and I'm all for mental health, rehabilitation. I'm state certified myself in home care and elder care, and I'm more than willing to help out with that initiative. But I support this community and what they're saying. I'm also a resident of Makaha, so I'm hearing what my community members are saying too about when I heard about this Rise complex. I thought it was a great idea, but I heard everything they said, and I just hope that our politicians are listening too. But I thought it was a great idea, and I hope that we can also still come up with solutions to help our community members from the ages, those young adults, 18 to 24, in some other way, maybe with something else, and not to be bringing people into our community. But what about our people from here that are, aging out and getting, kicked out, maybe kicked out of their homes without the skills they need to go into college and go into the workforce? So, mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you so much. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Chris Muraoka, Macau resident for all my life. So it's actually kind of a blessing that Rep Gates went before I. So I want to tag along to what he was saying. But I also want to go on record stating that I am against this. I support this petition as well. We don't need more outside members coming into our community. We've seen what happens when outside homeless come here. Okay, but getting to what Mr. Gates said, he is correct. There's a lot of us out here who don't know the processes. So I want to hold Mr. Gates, Ms. Shimabukuro, as well as you, Ms. Wilbur, who are our leaders. Okay, there's a reason we don't know a lot of these things. Is because you folks don't hold the proper people, DLHR, DPP, all of these people who can stand in front of us and answer the questions. We don't want to wait because we all know it never happens. Put them on the table and let us ask them. Hold them accountable, like we're going to start holding you folks accountable. Thank you.
Mahalo. Go ahead, state your name for the record.
Aloha, Michael William Capellino Eli, heir and successor. Aupuni ko Hawaii Pa'aina. Okay, one thing, see, I told you guys, never have the presence of the dealer now, this thing would not even happen. You know what I'm saying? I told you guys that they're not looking at the land when they're desecrating them, drilling in them, like the water supply. I don't know if they can go up there and stop the guys from drilling, they're still drilling. And in the desecration on a mountain over here, they still taking a pohako. And nothing getting done, because they're not doing a job. Like I said, if had presence down there, I don't think so the guys would have jumped out the truck and go over there in the ranch land. But you know what, when Mr. Silva was alive, I used to walk up there with my dogs. I think no about the cattle, but that's the whole problem. If you not belong in there, you not belong in there. But Mr. Silva, he no stay. He used to ride the horse. He said, "Go, boys." He know our dogs is cattle trained. Okay? Then he come back down. He'd come back with his truck. Now we walking out on the road and he see us guys. Okay? And we go home. But if had the dealer our presence down there, it is by Lady of Keaos, Makua, something. But they're always out of town. They're not doing, I don't know where they stay. I mean, only easy for driving a truck and look around. Why you guys stay all the way Kahalu? When you guys need all the presence over here. But then after, when brother passed away,
20 seconds.
he ended up dying. Now they stay over here causing trouble with the hunters again. You know what I mean? But they stay on the mountain, but what? They're doing the gathering rights. Who going to manage the game management plan? Where that's there? The state no can obligate that. We got to obligate the mountain. Yeah, the mountain, the goats stay over there. They say destroying them. Then why you guys chasing them? Why you guys chasing them guys away? That's not the bad apple that will go set all this pilikia. And me, I hunt, I get collars. So I take care of my dogs.
Mahalo.
One more thing, the guys still riding their horses inside Waianae, and the dealer are not going to stop them from doing that. But like I said, that's a hunting area. And if the dogs really bite the horses, like not mine one, but other people, they cannot take the excursion up in the mountain, in a forest reserve.
Okay.
Because that's what they're doing. Aloha.
Mahalo. So is there anybody with community concerns online? Okay, I'm seeing none. So you guys already
But I
came
got a
up to the
fast
mic,
question.
But I'm gonna just give you 1 minute.
Okay, that's
and
fine.
then- So,
Okay, my question I remembered, I saw developers on the news, man, they already got plans already made, don't even own the land. Got plans already made for their big, by Punahou School. That's what these developers about. Yeah, they don't even own the damn land. And they already got plans for like, high rise, parking. This is wrong. And this is how people get in with their, I don't know, permits, maybe 2%. You just need, how much percent do you need to start your project? You don't even own the land.
Mahalo. And then same, Auntie, I'm gonna just do one.
Real
minute.
quick,
Okay.
real quick. I'm just a resident of Waianae Valley, but I have a meeting with Don Chang that's gonna come down to Waianae with other concerns. Now, Mr. Lanford, Mr. Ganaban, and you, Chair, Mr. Endo. You guys can do the same as me. We gotta hold our politicians accountable, Miley and Cedric. You care for this community, get Dialina over here, get Don Chang over here, yeah? Find out the bullshit about Sheila Momani. Sheila Momani cannot do the enforcement. Give it to Jordan Law. We cannot go anymore. We trying with this, with that. We don't like hear what coming out of you guys' mouth. Bring the people here so we can ask ourselves, we can hold accountable. We know who to vote for because we get politicians. They come out here when they campaign. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and as soon as something happens, they're gonna answer the call. Like Crab over there. I call Cedric Gates' office, no answer the call. Call Andrew Topola, no answer the call. So neighborhood board, I'm gonna hold you accountable. Mr. Lanford, Crab, Mr. Ganaban, Chair, Mr. Endo. You guys can do it. Get Don Chang here. Get her DLNR officers here. We deserve that.
Yes.
Put you guys in your area to do for us, not for yourselves, okay?
Yes. Mahalo. Okay, last one, 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Great. So we're doing the PSAs for Olelo TV with the kids doing a great job. They filmed all you guys at the Capitol. You can see it all air. The kids are doing the interviews. And we tell them it's a 2-minute PSA. So they have to do the introduction. My name is Shelby Jason Kikyo Kalani, billionaire from the Paki royal bloodline for Koa Waipai Aina. You can say, hey, Pikachu, because it's easier to remember. Hi, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. So I want to report to you as the Libertarian Chair Pro Tem for the Libertarian Party. When I checked our paperwork today, at the Office of Elections, because I filed for the first person for President of the United States under Libertarian Party. Our convention's in May. So we're already behind the votes for the donkeys and elephants, because we can't say names. So we're using amakuas. Okay. So when I checked the paperwork, the chairman, Austin Martin, who's hiding out in Mountain View, Hilo, lied to the Office of Elections because my name is vacant as the Maui chair. So is Carl Dix, who's the vice chair. The treasurer, Dan Decker, quit and resigned. So did Robert Santillan because they took all the money with fraud. They used everything, which I filmed on Facebook Live during our board meeting, trying to use Robert's Rules of Orders. They took all the money, blew the marketing budget, all on radio Christmas ads, and we got zero return. They didn't want to tell us anything, and they lied. So I went to disqualify the party today. I sent the email to the Office of Elections. I went to Kristen's office. Knock, knock, knock. Pikachu's here with Carl Dix. We have witnesses. As all of my Facebook fan knows, and as the Libertarian Party, I'm going to disqualify because there's 0 people, because I read in the statistics of the Office of Elections. I'm Asian, I do math. There are currently 25 elephants who have filed their paperwork, 57 donkeys, 1 no labels, which is 83 total, 0 libertarians, 66 nonpartisans. This no labels party is actually 8. I didn't know there was 8 parties. I thought it was A, B, C, donkeys, elephants, libertarians. No, there's the no labels party, which is in DC, We the People, Robert F. Kennedy, Solidarity Party of Hawaii, Party of Socialism and Liberation, which means communism, and Green Party of Hawaii. None of those have filed any paperwork. So I'm not sure if you guys know what's really going on. Because when I called the No Labels Party in DC, they have no convention. There's one guy named Mark Macalono who's actually running as a Republican and the No Labels Party. There's no office. There's nothing. To me, it's a front. And you guys should all know what's really going down because he shouldn't give you a choice versus Mr. Dementia and Mr. Oompa Loompa Nazi. That is a way better choice. And that's why you should base it on the character of your soul, like Dr. Martin Luther L. King Jr. said. And that's why we want to be the character. And that's why Pikachu loves you. Pika, Pika, 2 minutes, baby. PSA. Out.
Mahalo. Okay, so moving on our agenda. So if we have so agenda item number 6, 6.1, Mayor's Rep, Dawn, are you online?
Yes, I am. Aloha. Can you hear me?
Aloha. Yes.
Thank you. I have one item to respond to, and I think everyone's well aware, but there was a concern about people have observed horseback riders in the Ka'ala area in what is noted as sanctioned hunting areas. The riders are armed and residents fear for potential danger in the event a firearm is used. Also, there's been observed drilling for water and housing near Angel's Junkyard. Residents fear the drilling will affect Punanaula stream. HPD reports that the sanctioned hunting area would come under the jurisdiction of DLNR. Questions and concerns should be forwarded to DLNR. Corporal Roland Pagan made a check and determined that the alleged drilling is in the area of Angel's Junkyard. He spoke to a male digging a well who provided an application for a well construction pump installation permit from DLNR's Commission on Water Resource Management. This activity was occurring on private property and no violations were observed. Questions and concerns regarding the drilling should be forwarded to the DLNR. And then separate from that, I can take the gentleman's address. He said that there was he made a complaint and he hadn't heard back from DPP. So if I could get that information, I can find out what happened with that inspection. And then
Yes, I will
Okay.
connect with him on that.
And then just real quickly, thank you, Mr. Salcedo, for sending the petition my way. I had staff quickly look at it. We sent out inspectors just to see what is currently happening on the property. We didn't observe anything in violation. This property, if they do move forward with a group living facility, they would have to come in for a major conditional use permit. Just generally speaking, there would most likely be a public hearing where we would notify residents within 300 feet. If there's not sufficient infrastructure, if well, that's one of the things that we look at to qualify, as well as whether the project serves the community. So there's different requirements that we would look at. So there's no current permit application in with us, but should they put that in, the process would be for public hearing and our review, et cetera, based on the requirements under the conditional use permit. So that's all I have. And any questions, I'm here to answer. Thank you.
Mahalo. Board members, I have Board Member Ganaban.
Hi, Don. I had to leave early last month, but my concern was this, is that the development that was happening in Makaha regarding the access right. I know they stated that the access right wasn't required because there was an access nearby, but I think what we lost track was that access that we were asking for was for, it would have made it easier for emergency response to that area, and that existed for over 70 years in that area. So moving forward, I would like to make sure that we, as a community, can actually have input on this and stop looking at what's on the books, because you know what I mean? What's on the books and what we actually believe for our area, what is good for our area, is may conflict of what is on the books for approval. You know what I mean? Individuals are applying for conditional use permit, and the community of our concern should have been addressed in that as well, and looked at. You know, instead of saying, "Oh no, you guys are okay," they have a access point not even so many yards away. You know, and then the other part was this: we were told that there was no development within so many feet on that side of the street anymore on Makai side. Makai side, because of the rising tides, and yet the reason why we couldn't have our bathroom back in Makaha, but this development is with the same distance from the beach line, and they're able to build. So that's just my concern. Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
Mahalo, Board Member Wilbur.
Thank you, Chair. Aloha, Don. A couple concerns. A lot of the community has been mentioning transparency. Board members have mentioned transparency, and a lot of this regarding the mental health that is currently walking out and about in our neighborhoods. It's my understanding that mental health, they receive some kind of assistance, and there's beds that have been afforded to these individuals, and yet they're walking around on the streets. And I understand that you can't force anybody to, you know, stay in that bed or sleep in that bed. The concern now is to the recipients of this, the money that is they're receiving to have these beds available for these individuals, because once it goes a week, a month, 2 months, and these individuals have not been in that bed yet, the people that provide the bed space have been cashing those checks. You know, the concern is, where's the transparency, and have you guys been monitoring these individuals that are out and about and still receiving some kind of assistance, and yet these individuals that are supposed to be providing the assistance or the space, I mean, they're obviously cashing a check. So again, transparency is what we've all been asking for. And if you know, I know everybody talks about enforcement and everything like that, but again, it starts from the top. And if you guys could please devise some kind of plan on showing some type of transparency that is showing these individuals and their activities, and if the money is still going out and being spent, and really not servicing the individuals that really need it. Thank you.
Yeah, mahalo for your comments. And as Councilmember Tupola had mentioned in the chat, that this might be a state issue. So I mean, I can go back to our agencies and see, but it sounds like it might be a state issue that you might want to bring up with the state representatives.
Do you guys not have directors for homeless and housing?
We do. We
And
do.
deputy
So
directors?
yeah, I can bring that information back, but some of the mental health issues may be under the state. I think some of the I can take your issues back to the city agency, the housing as well.
Because I'll be asking the state the same question as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mahalo. So not seeing any other board members. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Kalamai. Board Member Crab.
Thank you. Hi, Director. Last meeting I asked about the property up in Lehoku, where we also had another shooting over there. Did we have a response or an update for that too yet?
I don't have one for Lehoku. There was one for Kea'au development. That's not the same, yeah?
No, it's not.
Yeah, I will have to get that question again. I don't have it in the list of questions, but I can work on that and bring it to you at the next meeting.
Okay. Yes, please. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Hello, I'm Austin Salcedo again. Aloha, Don.
Aloha.
Director Don, I apologize. Don, are you in receipt of the petition that we handed over to the same copy to the mayor's management directors, to Polo's office? In fact, we sent over the same petition to our governor's office as well to recognize, because are you in receipt, please?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for receiving it. But please consider this now. Because of the partnership that RISE, Residential Youth Services and Empowerment, it's kind of misleading with the name itself of what they're trying to do in this type of businesses operation on Nohulio Road. And the shelters on Kalawaha. Apparently, RISE is going to use the governor's emergency proclamation and the federal HUD grants to establish their operations there, and utilizing a partnership with Alternative Structures International, which I don't sit well with them as well because of their poor performance at Kauhale Kamaili. So I asked this neighborhood board to bring in a meeting, not request, but to demand a meeting with RISE and the shelter before, and let's have them discuss it with the community. But what they're doing, their strategic moves is kind of changing. That's why prompting the attention of like Kale Wilbur had said over here, that we need representatives from the houseless areas of the state and city So that's Anton Cronky and John Mizuno of the state. I think they should be part of this meeting as well. Okay, so with that said, these operations, because of our lack of law enforcement, HPD, and of course DLNR, all the type of enforcement is restricted on this side of the island, and more bad behaviors is coming our way. So we're more greatly concerned about this is coming our side. We don't need more bad behaviors. We had enough of it already. So please, our neighborhood board will coordinate with you to have these people to be invited, these organizations. I appreciate that. Thank you, Don, for your attention to this matter and our concerns. Aloha.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Don, I will connect with you offline regarding his concern.
Thank you.
Go ahead. You can state your
Aloha,
name for the
Kalei
record.
Saucedo.
Thank you.
Don, I'd like to invite you and the governor and the mayor to the Waianae side after sunset. You know, that would be nice so you could see what our community is face up. So we'd like to welcome you guys after sunset to 96792. Then you can see it with your own eyes. Seeing is believing. But let me tell you, you're going to see it, but we live it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Senator.
Don, the question that you should be asking, and you should be getting the answers to this community. How far is this permit? Because I'm listening to whispers in this community that they look like they're starting. So how far this permit is, and what is the chances of the community stopping it? Because, you know, we get the petition I hear going around, but it sounds like they already got their permits. So isn't it part of the conditional permit to come to the neighborhood board, present themselves and give a follow-up date to going on with the project?
No. Oh, so there's no permit application in yet for the conditional use permit. So there is no permit. There is a required public hearing if they put in an application for the major conditional use permit. So that's all ahead of them if they decide to move forward.
So why don't the mayor or you guys come out here for a community meeting so you guys can hear the community's concern? Seems like a lot of people is concerned, regardless if they put in the conditional use permit, hearing that they want to use the governor's proclamation to go ahead and move this thing forward. So it'd be really transparent if you guys can come out here and listen to them and try to help them stop the project instead of just being the voice of, you know, the mayor. Should come out here and try to stop the project like how we tried to do in Nova Beach. Appreciate it. Thank you, Chair.
Mahalo. Don, is there a scheduled mayor town hall coming up this month?
I think it starts in Eva Beach is the first one, and then they go to Kapolei, and then maybe I'm not sure when Waianae is, but usually we cover the west side first, as we did last year.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey Don, I just pulled up the email. So for the community as well, the mayor's town hall will be Thursday, May 2nd, 2024. This includes Nanakuli, Waianae, and Makaha. It's going to be at Nanikupona Elementary School. That's Thursday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. at Nanikupona Elementary School.
Hi, Chris Moroka again. If I may, I think Mr. Favela said it. The whispers are some of the work has started. Ms. Dawn, can you folks issue a cease and desist until the mayor's town hall? Because we don't want to wait till May. A lot can happen between now and May as far as construction. Can you folks issue an immediate cease and desist until,
For right now, they actually haven't even filed a permit to.
or if they
to
did,
even-
can you guys make sure even if they file, nothing happens until after the mayor's town hall? Because I think we have enough voices in the community that we can stop this. I mean, quite honestly, right off the bat, I have some open permits right there. I live 7, 8 houses down the road. It's ag country. How are they gonna build on ag country? a lot of concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sabrina Grace, Miley and Cedric, you should write the letter for cease and desist. And until the whole community, Leeward Coast, know what is going on. Have some transparency. And Miley, don't say you're too busy. You're going out and you cannot do nothing. You're an attorney. You know how to generate the letter. So do it.
So we are gonna go to.
Just one follow-up.
Se-
that'd be great. I want Don to answer this question. Is this conditional use permit a major or a minor if they're going to go and apply? If they never apply, when they apply, can you let the community know if it's a major or a minor? Because both of them get different ways of presenting it to the community. If they do a minor, they just need to go ahead and advertise it in a piece of paper. If it's a major, they need to go more than one or twice or maybe 3 community meetings. So that's what the community need to know to get ahead of this. So can you find out if it's a major or a minor?
It is a major. She stated it.
Okay.
For the Rise project.
So
there was
then, how much time did they come to this community, Chair?
none.
Okay, then right there, the community conditional use permit is denied because they never come here yet.
Mahalo. Mahalo. Okay, so we are going to, guys, if we can address our questions, if you guys can please write them down and we will forward them to the departments if there's anything they state, because right now we are on a time crunch. So we would like to get through the agenda and we're gonna just allow you guys to present. And if I can please ask you guys to write your questions down and we will get them to our elected officials at this time. So moving right along to Council Member Andrea Tupola.
Aloha,
Mahalo.
Chair. Aloha, board members. Thank you for having me virtual. I had to do a presentation for my church in Kapolei, but I was tuning in, and I also have my staff member there, Kika, if you guys have any follow-up questions. So I have probably just 5 things that I want to go through, and then I'll take some questions. First off is we had our first committee hearing for Resolution 2450, which is going to create ocean safety into their own department. This is a charter resolution, so if passed, it will be on the ballot for people to vote for. Right now, ocean safety is actually under EMS, and by having them separated, it will allow them autonomy, but it will also improve our EMS department as well. The reason why I introduced it is because our district was the first one to get a new tower in 11 years. So that tower we got in Kahe, they hadn't built a new ocean safety lifeguard tower for some time. So I wanted to ask the community for their support. It'll be going back to full council and then one more committee hearing. The second thing that I gave to the board was a letter about Cedar Farms. I know a lot of people have asked. I went out to visit with them. I went out with DPP, and I know Don might still be on, but I wrote specifically in that letter again about group living facilities, which seems to be a theme of tonight. And I kind of was typing in the chat the definition of it. Senator Favela's right. The conditional use permit major requires a public hearing. So what Cedar Farms is doing is technically a group living facility. And so they need to get a conditional use permit major. And there also is a restriction that group living facilities have to be at least 1,000 feet apart. And I don't know how far away their parcel is from Twinkles in Them, but Twinkles in Them do have a conditional use permit major. The second thing that I wrote in the letter to the board was that I do believe that part of what they need to do to comply with the law is when you are on ag land, you have to do at least 50% agriculture activities. So it shouldn't be 100% of the land is used for housing, because that would be R5. They're zoned agriculture or Ag 2, which requires agriculture uses. So that letter is for the board, as it's been a question. The last thing I had in that letter was that there is a disputed road. So the houses that are on that road that go to Cedars, they are on a road that used to be owned by a place called Capital Investments. That place has since closed down, and there is no city services there, and there is no one caring for the road. So I'll be introducing a resolution for a disputed road to see if the city will acquire it so that they can start to bring those services in. I'm also asking for the board to do a letter of support. I know there was a vote, but if you wouldn't mind, Chair, just penning a letter of support for 5758, our game room bills. I gave out some R3 flyers for our current homeless outreach, which we're doing at River of Life. Monday, Thursday, 12 to 1, and at the LMS Nanakuli on Monday, Wednesday from 5 to 6. Lastly, there'll be a beach cleanup April 27th. We'll be meeting at the same place in Nanakuli and doing the area from depots all the way to Ulehava Canal. I'll open up for questions.
Mahalo. Actually, if we have any questions for council member, if we can write it down and we will forward them to council member. Mahalo, council member. And then moving on to Board of Water Supply. Chris.
Chair, can I say something to the councilwoman?
Okay.
Okay,
One
Andrea, I want to thank Kika and you for that issue we had at Farrington and Kalailoa, extending that lights, especially the Farrington access extension road there has changed. At least they was able to see 5 cars going through instead of 1 or none. And I had the opportunity talking to Chris, Chris's office person that happened to go there, and he listened to my story, and he happened to wash his car there, and he was checking the lights at the same time, and he gave a report back to me that, you know, and I told him, you know, we cannot get a police officer, so, you know, the next best thing. Thank you again for that. I'm sure I was stuck in that traffic and just yesterday, and to me it's helped a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kika.
Mahalo. Tara, do you have a question for Councilwoman?
Yes, aloha. So this is Tara Rojas. Aloha, Councilwoman Andrea. I wanted to just say for this community meeting, I'm so awesome to see, you know, the residents involved. And I hear, you know, your concerns for your area. And I just wanted to come on really quickly just to invite Andrea, Councilwoman, since Eva Beach is part of, you know, your district, if you would be able to attend our Eva Beach one on Thursday. And I just wanted just to say that it's great to hear the community come together and really advocate for what the community needs. And hearing that you all are against, you know, this development that's going to happen, and just hearing about now about the permits, major and minor, I just wanted again to invite the Councilwoman Andrea, if you could come on Eva Beach, because same thing, you know, it seems that things are getting passed through from a permitting side to accommodate proposed development that hasn't even finished the process. So whereas I'm hearing now your concerns for Waianae community, we have this issue going on for Eva Beach community. And it's not a whispering, it's actually things that happened, approval to accommodate projects coming up, and that's an issue. So for example, like HCDA
Mahalo,
amending
Tara.
zoning.
I know
Yeah,
this is
amending zoning to
lengthier-
accommodate.
Tara,
Yeah.
Kalamai. This is a lengthier discussion for sure, but if you could send me a personal email, and I can actually put my contact information in the chat. But if you can, council member, if also you can put yours or whichever staff member you'd like her to contact, so we can definitely continue that conversation offline, so we can continue on the agenda, please. I'm so sorry, but I'll send my
No, but
information
Mahalo,
right
I'm
now.
just awesome to hear your meeting.
Mahalo
Aloha.
for participating. We appreciate you. Okay, so Chris, if you're still online, and then I'm gonna stick to our agenda. It says 3 minutes per, and if we can yield time, then that would be greatly appreciated. Just so we can move to the next. So I'm gonna start the timer now. Starting now for the next elected official. Go ahead, Chris.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Sugimoto from the Board of Water Supply. I would like to go over some questions that were asked at last month's board meeting. So the first one was from resident Michael Eli. He reported seeing a well drilling rig in the area of 1330 Waianae Valley Road. So he's concerned the activity may be unpermitted and asked for more information. So the CWORM is responsible for issuing the new well permits. The Board of Water Supply contacted CWORM about the well drilling rig and found out that there were no well applications or existing wells on file at 1330C Waianae Valley Road. Seaworm said that they will go out and investigate. However, Seaworm did inform us that there is a permit for a proposed well location at 85-1330G Waianae Valley Road. For more information, please contact Seaworm at 808-587-0214. Next question was water approved by BWS for use in water features takes away from future generations. BWS should expand the use of desalination or other sources if it approves developer applications for water service for use in water features. So water features such as fountains, ponds, and artificial waterfalls recirculate water and work to minimize water loss caused by evaporation. Their water use is low. Please note that the BWS is designing and constructing a Kalaloa seawater desalination facility. It's scheduled to go online in 2027. Board member Waianae recalled seeing water coming out from a well drilled long time ago in Haleiwa. Streams were healthy and flourishing in the past. That's no longer the case today. What is BWS doing to restore stream flow and habitats? So Seaworm evaluates opportunities for stream restoration and impacts to critical habitats. The BWS is a potential participant in these efforts. This will come up in the Waianae designation process. The BWS will submit a designation petition to Seaworm later this year. And BWS is also working on an update to the Waianae Watershed Management Plan and will contact board member Waianae to discuss further. Next question is, a resident asked if BWS has the water to support new development and outside people moving in. Yes, but new developments are approved by the city's DPP and or Department of Hawaiian Homelands. The BWS does not have the authority to deny building permits. So there is no building moratorium in the Waianae area. The BWS actively continues to develop new sources to support the area, and this process can take about 5 to 7 years. Last question is regarding a Macau resident reported paying a water bill that contained a sewer charge when the property has a cesspool. So the BWS Customer Service Division contacted the resident, Ms. Moroga, addressed her concerns and confirmed she had never paid a sewer bill at 84-242 Makaha Valley Road. That's the end of our responses.
Mahalo.
Share our general water announcements if there's still enough time, Chair.
Actually, that was 3 minutes. If
Oh,
you,
sorry
you
about that.
already sent it in email.
Yes.
Okay, can I give you 30 seconds? Do you think
Okay.
that's enough or?
Yeah, should be
Okay.
fast. I mean, real brief. So there was a just one water main break last month. It was at 493 Farrington Highway. The water announcements about World Water Day. So you can visit our website at www.boardofwatersupply.com/World Water Day to find out more information. Yeah, and that's about it. I guess there's no time for questions, so I'll be online to accept any questions from anyone.
Mahalo. And if we have any in person, we will forward that to you via email. Mahalo,
Okay,
Chris, for
perfect.
being here.
Hey, mahalo, everyone.
So we are going to U.S. Army Garrison, Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Yoon.
Good evening, Madam Chair, honorable board members, community. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Yoon, and I represent United States Army Hawaii. 3 things for the month of March and for the community. March 19th, we have a March job fair at Mililani High School, beginning at 08:30 and ending at 2 o'clock. That's open to the public and for the community. The second is a noise advisory. We will have some increased training on Schofield Barracks from the 1st to the 23rd of March. Shouldn't affect mostly on this side, but if you do hear some residue, that will be for sound. That's the increases training, and we sent that noise advisory to board members, and we'll make sure that gets out to the constituents. And third, because it was brought up about the Koli Koli Pass, there is a workshop currently that just happened with the Navy, the city and county of Honolulu. That's just to kind of redraft or update the MOU. So right now it's just the parties to try to understand what the MOU needs updating for. And then the working group with Haima, City of Honolulu, Army, and Navy will come back together in April to revisit that. And I think Mr. Vic will update that.
Mahalo.
Subject to anybody.
Thank you. If we have any questions, we will definitely forward it to you. Okay, Danny, he said you first. If you're online, I'm gonna start the timer, 3 minutes.
Aloha Chair, aloha community. I will be very, very quick about this. As of March 4th, the Joint Task Force Red Hill has removed approximately 59,888 gallons of residual fuel. As you know, the tanks have been defueled, but there's still residual fuel in the pipelines themselves. They're trying to get down to 60,000 gallons before they turn over the operations, the cleaning operations over to the Navy Closure Task Force. And speaking of the Navy Closure Task Force, they have a new website up that'll explain more about their mission and about what they'll be doing during the cleaning process. I will plug that into the chat block, the new website. And other news is the Navy will voluntarily extend its long-term monitoring program for another year. So they will be doing that check starting next month until next year. And to learn more about that, they're setting up, they're continuing with the information booth. The next one is March 13th at the Capilina Night Market. And then there was one on March 28th, and that's the residents can learn more about how to read those long-term monitoring information. With that, I will turn it over to Uncle Vic, right there with you all.
Thank you, my brother.
Mahalo. 1
Victor
minute and
Flint,
30
Naval
seconds.
Facilities. I'm going to touch a little bit what Colonel Pat talked about on February 22nd. The Army had a Holy Pass workshop. And the purpose of the workshop was to address the concerns that were brought up by the Waianae Moku Kupuna Council. So right off the bat, both Army and Navy said if the state or city come and request assistance from the Army and the Navy, that'll happen. That's a go. So that's good. So evacuation drills, points of contact, protocols, responsibilities, and amendment to the Memorandum of Understanding were all topics. To include long-range plans were part of the discussion. But what can be done now? Not 10 years from now, now. So what do we have now? What can we use now? And how can we make things work? That was all good. I'm going to segue into the Waianae Coast Emergency Access Route. Awareness was brought up at this workshop. The bypass route is the Farrington Highway bypass. So that bypass should be factored when we have leeward emergency drills. Now, Navy's position, Navy as a stakeholder, and we have the historical and operational background of, yeah. And we have a huaka'i coming up with members of this board, Nanakuli board, state rep, and Ma'o to have eyes on Kolikoli Pass. That's all I have. Are there any questions?
Mahalo. If we do have questions, we will forward them to you via email.
Sounds good.
Mahalo for your time, Uncle Vic.
Chair, one request for movement of the recognition, award recognition to after section 9.7, so we can move on? Or do you want it, or where is it better to be moved? Above? Okay, right now. Okay, move recognition to be announced now.
Second.
Thank you. Motion to amend the agenda to move item 8 recognitions above 7 elected officials. And motion is any discussion, any opposition? Motion is carried. So we are going to recognitions and then back to agenda item 7 elected officials. So if actually, I'm gonna just read it from here for the sake of time. So I'm gonna hand this over to you. So I'm gonna read the first one on the agenda, and that's Uncle Andrew Kiskarin. Resolution honoring Uncle Andrew Kiskarin Tutuman in recognition and gratitude for his exceptional service, dedication, and contributions to our Moku. Whereas Uncle Andrew Kiskarin has been an outstanding community member, embodying humility, service, and commitment to giving back to our community. Whereas Uncle Andrew Kiskarin has consistently demonstrated his devotion as a husband, father, and grandfather, serving as a foundation of support for his ohana. Whereas Uncle Andrew Kiskarin, though quiet, has been ever willing to kokua wherever and whenever needed, contributing to the betterment of our community. Whereas his unwavering presence at Ohana sporting events, community meetings, and engagements, including the act of securing and closing community gatherings, has been invaluable. Whereas he has joyfully created lasting memories, built meaningful relationships, and bonded with Keiki in our moku, leaving an enduring impact on our lives. Whereas Uncle Andrew Kiskarin has mentored and been a respected kupuna, exemplifying positive, loving, and kind spirit that is commendable and appreciated by all. Whereas he has modeled the qualities of an amazing father, offering wisdom and guidance that serves as a role model for others in the community. Whereas the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board officially recognizes and honors Uncle Andrew Kiskarin for his significant and positive impact on our moku. Be it resolved that we hereby present this certificate on March 5th, 2024, acknowledging his love, dedication, and cherished moments we shared. You will forever be loved in our moku. God bless, and may peace be abound to your entire ohana, Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board. That I forgot to state. So the family gave permission for us to read it, and we will be distributing that to them after this. The next one, if I can have Uncle Joe Momoa join me up here. Mahalo, Uncle, for attending. Okay, so the next resolution of appreciation is to Auntie Al Momoa, who has dedicated her life to our community and will have an impeccable impact on each of our generations to come. Whereas Auntie Al Momoa, a dedicated coach, kupuna, mentor, and beloved companion to Uncle Joe Momoa, has tirelessly served the Waianae Coast community with passion, dedication, and wisdom, embodying the pillar of our moku. And whereas Auntie Al's coaching prowess and Ike have led to numerous victories for our paddling ohana and community, instilling a sense of pride and achievement in all those she has mentored. And whereas Auntie Al's impact on the Waianae Coast community goes beyond the sports arena, as she has been a devoted mother figure to many, providing inspiration, guidance, and love. And whereas Auntie Al's devotion to her moku has been exemplary, as she served her community both on and off the clock, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to the betterment of the Waianae Coast. And whereas Auntie Al's character is marked by authenticity, compassion, and willingness to teach, serving as a role model for persistence, skill perfection, and the importance of making pono decisions. And whereas Auntie Al's genuine nature, thick skin, and our heart have an indelible mark on the Waianae Coast, offering a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen, and a comic relief when needed. And whereas Auntie Al's presence at practices has been consistent and unparalleled, making her an integral part of the paddling ohana and a source of inspiration for those aspiring to be the best. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board expresses its deepest appreciation and gratitude to Auntie Al Momoa for her extraordinary contributions to our community, recognizing her as a pillar of our community. And be it further resolved that we present this resolution to Uncle Joe Momoa as our sincere mahalo to her and that her legacy continues to inspire future generations on the Waianae coast. Mahalo, Uncle.
Thank you, guys.
You do for us. Thank you. And then I'm gonna hand it over to Cross. Mahalo.
Aloha, everyone. Now we're going to go into recognition of Elepaio services. They contacted me earlier saying they may not be able to attend tonight, but do we have anyone on right now, Alicia or Nikki? Nope. Okay, just to continue. So the certificate of recognition is proudly presented to Elepaio Services in commendation of their exceptional commitment and achievement in addressing food insecurity and fostering community well-being. Elepaio Services has demonstrated remarkable leadership by being the largest SNAP accepting program in the state of Hawaii, pioneering the food as medicine program, significantly impacting the health and nutrition of individuals and families along the Waianae coast, quadrupling the sales for farmers participating in their programs, and bolstering local agriculture and economic resilience. They've also been providing sustenance to over 3,600 children and 1,100 elderly individuals every week, ensuring as many people do not go hungry, and also distributed over 9 million pounds of food while alleviating hunger and supporting families in need. This extraordinary initiative was born out of compassion and solidarity in response to the heightened food insecurity rates exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Mahalo, Elepaio Services. And then the last recognition for this evening is being presented to Kealoha West Oahu. Karina, you online?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you, Karina.
You're
This
welcome.
certificate is awarded to Kealoha West Oahu in recognition of their outstanding efforts and achievements in assisting unsheltered individuals within the Region 7 area consisting of the Waianae Coast. Some examples of their work include, in the past 90 days, the Region 7 outreach team demonstrated exemplary dedication and compassion by enrolling 27 new households comprising 64 unsheltered people, and we're getting them into vital support services. Furthermore, the efforts of the outreach team have resulted in the successful housing of 22 households encompassing 50 unsheltered individuals in various housing options. Specifically, 5 households were placed into transitional shelter programs, 3 into emergency shelter programs, 12 into permanent housing, and 1 household being chosen to return to the mainland. In addition to their direct impact on housing outcomes, the Region 7 outreach team has been instrumental in securing 12 contracts associated with diverse housing and case management programs, further expanding their reach and effectiveness in addressing homelessness. Through their successful work, they have now been awarded the contracts to serve Region 3 and 5, which include Kapolei through Pro City, all the way through Wahiawa and the North Shore, which means the organization is now basically servicing half of the island. So we definitely wish them luck on this new work that they will begin. This certificate serves as a testament to the unwavering commitment and exceptional contributions of the Region 7 outreach team in making a positive difference in the lives of individuals experiencing homelessness. Their dedication to providing support and resources demonstrate a profound commitment to fostering community well-being and social justice. Mahalo, Kealoha West Oahu.
Thank you.
Mahalo. Thank you so much,
Thank
Karina, for being online, and mahalo for all that you do.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Okay, we're going back up. We have 5 minutes. So we're going back to 7, agenda item number 7, Congresswoman Joe Takuda. Anybody online? Not seeing anyone. So Governor's Rep, we have Stacey Lynn Eli. Mahalo.
Aloha Chair, board members, Stacey Eli for Governor's Office. I did take notes and talk to some of the residents that were here that were sharing their concerns. I will be putting in my report to Governor about the petition, RISE, as well as having DLNR come out to the meeting if possible for the community members. Also, I wanted to go back to last month's meeting. Member Endo had asked about fentanyl use and if the state was keeping track. So we did get a response from Department of Health. So the Department of Health Emergency Medical Services and Injury Prevention System branch currently tracks such deaths using the DOH death certificate database. However, it has limitations on how deaths are coded in terms of specificity because fentanyl versus general opioid overdoses. And so more importantly, timelines due to the 2 to 3 month lag and due to lack of available toxicology labs. Basically what they're saying is they don't have an updated amount for you, like for daily counts at this time. However, I did pass out these fact sheets that they asked for us to share with the community, the board members. So I did have some at the front and I did share them with you folks. Let me know for the members who are online. Chair, if you need to, I can forward it to you. But the website is bh808.hawaii.gov/substance-use. So if you folks want to visit, they have more information there. However, they said the website is a work in progress. So they're expecting to have more information as time progresses. But other than that, if you folks have any other questions or concerns that I can take back to governor's team, I can take it at this time.
Mahalo. Okay, I see Coco whose hand up, and then we have 2 board members that have concerns that they would like to address.
Okay.
So if we can, 30 seconds if can possible, please. Mahalo.
Thank you, Chair. Aloha, Stacy. The same question that I had for city was transparency regarding the bed space and this for a lot of the mental health that seem to still be wandering our streets. Again, it's to be more transparent as far as money that's going out. Is it being used appropriately? And again, if these people are still cashing those checks to provide that bed space and the individuals aren't using the bed space, it's like, why are we still paying for this? So that the transparency on that level would really I'm pretty sure it'd be surprising how many individuals are wandering the streets and they have a place to go.
Okay.
Thank you. If you guys can get that
I'll take
information.
that back. Thank you.
Coco, go ahead.
Aloha, Stacy. Good to see you. So I got a quick
Aloha.
question. This is coming from if you could go back and ask Governor King, because when the inferno started in last August in Lahaina, and he was on video saying that Lahaina was in the works of being the first smart city in Hawaii, and then I guess he retracted it after he was getting some slack. But my question is it still on his agenda for a smart city in Lahaina? That's my question. Thank you.
Sorry, it was kind of, sorry, Wahine.
Coco, I don't know if you could send that in a text or email. It was breaking up throughout the time you were talking.
Can you hear me now, please?
You sound like you're underwater right now.
I'm on with my AirPods. Can you folks hear me?
We can hear you better
yep.
now.
Mahalo.
Okay, so my question is Governor Green had mentioned after the infernos in last August in Lahaina that Lahaina was stated to be the first smart city in Hawaii. So I know he got a lot of slack for that, but my question is it still on his agenda? That's my question. You guys got that?
You want to clarify?
What? So he stated that it would be the first. What was that? Smart city. Okay.
Yeah, he was on video. He was on film on video saying that Lahaina was slated to be the first smart city in Hawaii. So, and he got a lot of pushback for that. So my question is it still on his agenda for Lahaina to be the first so-called smart city in Hawaii?
Okay.
That's my question.
Okay. Got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mahalo. Okay.
Really quickly, Stacey, we've been asking for updates for Mr. Eli's concerns of Waianae Valley for months. We've been asking DLNR to come to respond, and we didn't get a report this evening. So can we please get a report ASAP? Thank you.
Just following up on that quickly, I received a message back from Luna, not the actual departments, today, regarding nobody would be able to attend, but I spoke to someone physically, and the request was very specific that their different department heads be here present at the meeting. So if that can be
I will.
emphasized and yeah, mahalo. Okay, Tara, is there a quick question? Because we actually need to
Yes. Yeah,
conclude our
quick
meeting.
question. So I would like to second, Kakohu's question about being a smart city, Lahaina, because HCD, well, the Kalailoa master plan, it literally states there in the plan that it's destined to be, a 20-minute smart city. It literally says that in the plan. So I second Kakohu's question. Mahalo.
Okay, so, apologies, but we will be, Senator Miley, is there?
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Actually, we're over our time, so it's
Okay.
9:04. And so I apologize that you guys are here, and our questions aren't gonna be addressed. I know there was a bunch that was asked earlier in the meeting. If there's any way we can have more meetings in our community, because obviously the concerns is very heavy. So whether it's town halls or whatnot, can there be more platforms for our community to address these concerns? Because obviously 3 hours isn't enough to get through all of it. So if we can have more open dialogue with you guys and then with our community members and then the departments that we are requesting like DLNR. So if there's any way that can be collaborated like in the next 30 days maybe, and then we can continue moving forward. And I'll email you as well. But thank you guys so much for attending. Auntie Kale, you can ask, is it for governor's rep? Okay, really quickly.
Aloha, Kale Salcedo. Could you please ask the governor to hold a town hall meeting and bring all his state official, DLNR, whoever he control, our Ahumoku, this it's limited, the neighborhood board. But we're not limited to what's the crimes happening here. So could you have the governor hold a town hall meeting? He's the governor after all. He got all his departments and they failed to do the responsibility, the job duties. So I, speaking on behalf of the Kupuna and the safety of our community, I challenge the governor to come out here and hold it and bring his department that he allocated from DLNR, you name it. I challenge the governor to come here and face our community. And I'd like to
Mahalo,
invite
Auntie.
them to come down here after sunset so they can see what we face. Mahalo.
Mahalo. So actually we're adjourning. We're adjourning at 9:06, but representative is still here and you guys are more than welcome to ask your questions offline or in the back or write them down so that we can forward them. But our time is at 9:06 for adjourning. And again, we mahalo you guys for attending and participating. That's definitely what we need more of is our participation in our community. But again, have a great night and we will see you all next